What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Huge news coming for the USA. It looks like we are getting that unlimited run of Toon Chaos after all, dropping sometime in August. This is confirmed to me by Kaiju Kev, who has been working closely with the card shop. It popped up for order for them, as well as Tier 0, even though they're EU, their roots run deep. So this brings up interesting conversations that we've been having ever since it was confirmed that the EU was getting an unlimited run, and that's how much of this will be printed, what will happen to the first edition run in terms of prices, how will the gap grow between collector rare first edition and unlimited, and what's going to happen with the singles. Let's start backwards here. I think that the singles will definitely be going down in price, and people will similarly rip open the unlimited run chasing after collector rares, even though they're not as desired without that first ed stamp. So I could see something like Renowned going down towards 20 to 18 depending, but Rise of the Duelist will also be coming out, so you have that chance that this will continue to go up and actually just ignore that or stay the same. Similarly with Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, I could see this towards 15, but people will be wanting those cards right around then, even without organized play. It could help the first edition stuff with the Toon stuff be going a little bit cheaper, as well as definitely extravagance. With more in the population, even though people are going after playsets, people will be after those, and then the question remains, will this end up in the Megatons, or will it be like Ash Blossom, Impermanence, Phantasme, where it's used to sell something else? We've got to keep our eye out for that. But as for the collector rares, I think that first edition stamp matters a freaking lot. Look at ghost rares over time. Whenever it comes to a high-end collectible, people want the maximum version of that. So while the others will be around, also look at ultimate rares, like the gap between Ultimate Construct first and Unlimited. Over time, especially for the most desired ones like BLS, like Stardust, like Chaos Emperor Dragon, it's going to grow. As for the meta ones, the gap may be a little bit smaller because they're up there because A, playsets, B, tech choices, C, you could actually play it competitively and people like to max out their decks. People might settle for the non-first eds, but competitive nature usually screams first edition. We've actually seen stuff like Chaos Space fall back down over time after its buyout for collector rare, not as in demand as the GOAT format, Plant format, Past format ones. Now, as for the sealed product itself, I think this is still a great, very long-term keep. People complained about the quality control when it came to these packs, but when you have a chance at misprints like that and wonky things happening, that's actually great when Konami has a standard of usually printing pretty well. This isn't like hollow warping that's a bad thing. This is, wow, that's interesting. Name shifts, you have things going crazy. So I think it's actually even better, all the more that people throughout history will remember this first edition run for being that wacky, and I think it'll be great. But you have two options. I do think it'll go down a little bit once the unlimited run is here. The population is up for the set, so you will have sellers trying to undercut each other a little bit, similar to Legendary Duelist 6, but I think this is far more collectible than Legendary Duelist 6 when it comes down to it. I mean, Magician's Souls was kind of that thing, and yes, there's like all 5 protagonist cards, but this has meta cards, Toon cards, and we've seen Toon Kingdom, and just aspects to it that feel ultra collectible for Yu-Gi-Oh! So I still think this is a great long-term keep, but weigh your options. Maybe list it for 115, 110 now if you're not comfortable and you want to make that quick flip, or hold on to it for the very long-term ride. Now, for the sellout speed run here, there's a ton of news from partners slash even non-partners and sales going on. We have a 4th of July sale coming here from YBM, and it's 10% off site-wide. So we actually go to the catalog, and you have some of the cheapest prices besides their early bird sales, where you could have, you know, got those cases of Megatons for 180, and so many people have asked, John, can I please, I know I missed out, can I please get one? This is the closest you're going to get, because when you add it to cart and you go to the cart, you can actually see that, well, let's knock one off. The application of the discount is automatic in your cart, but you still support the channel by going on over and going to the sale. But yeah, 188 shipped to your front door. Depending where you are, taxes will apply, of course, though, as with any website. This is the cheapest you're going to get on cases of Megaton still this late in the game. And yes, I'd say late, even though it's this early. Dex Protection has an amazing sale on products that I've been eyeing. They're not a sponsor, but they've definitely sent stuff to the channel before. I've tested them out, and I would personally use some of their products, but you're gonna have trouble getting to that free shipping because you need to get to 100 in your cart for free shipping. If you're a vendor, you could stack up deep on their binders. I think the pink ones look a lot better than the yellow ones. They definitely have some good deck boxes as well, such as the Safari line being at 15, basically half price normal, as well as different deck boxes. And speaking of deck boxes, moving on to an actual sponsor releasing something that you know I can't resist sharing, the Godzilla deck tech box. This is amazing. Well, it's called Titan, to be fair, but oh my gosh, I can't wait to get my hands on this. Brandon has outdone himself again over at Gym Accessories, and I can't wait to be looking at this. He's really revolutionized deck boxes. They have a flip open dice tray and so much going for them, and I love the deck techs. Over on Midnight Dreams, What's Good 10 can get you 10% off on this playmat, and it's actually a collab with another YouTuber, Baby Dragon 48. They've been growing through the community for a while, and I love the commission that they've done here. So get yourself the stained glass, amazing Mermail Atlantean mat. It just looks great. And also over on Zero Damage Gaming, What's Good 10 should work there too. People either love or hate their cloth mats, but their cloth mats are a limited time release, so you have to decide to get it sooner than later. I think they make some of the best rubber mats, hands down. And the Cyber Dragon design, the Chimera Tech design, I like both of these so gosh dang much, and I know there's a ton of Cyber Dragon fans in the audience. So again, anywhere a promo code is applied, it supports the channel, you get cool stuff with a discount, and I look, the rare non-sellout actually bringing you a product as well. That being said, let's move back into Market Watch mode. Legendary Duel Season 1 is settling. Crystal Bond has dipped down on TCG Player as well. Over time, it seems like the supply is there and the demand is not, and these cards continue to be cheap. Millennium Eyes Restrict is trying to float towards that top spot over here on the set, and I think rightfully so, even though people don't necessarily want full playsets of this, because it's an instant fusion target that you're bringing out, and instant fusions at 1, granted, it's not the powerhouse that people were clamoring for Master Rule 5 as they might have thought. Still an amazing card, still an amazing option, and I see it going towards the top of the set. And I think it should be towards probably $15 over time. I do think that for what's ripped open now and how much of it was ripped open, you won't see this stay on shelves for long, and you will see a lot of penny stonks versus what they are go up to a table of contents. So cheap for an ultra rare wacky printing. Really comes down to the colors you prefer. I don't think colors will kind of go over each other in terms of the whole community agrees blue is the best for this card. I really wish they did red. Rainbow Bridge, oh, Crystal Beast, you gotta know. I would think this would be going up, as well as Cocoon of Ultra Evolution. And again, I don't think the original printings will be going down too fast, but it's nice to see all of this come together in such an affordable fashion. Just a smorgasbord of penny stonks to kind of choose from. Now, to the credit, a lot of these are more collectible than playable. They update legacy decks, but they don't bring them to the forefront of the meta. I did see some wacky ancient gear fusion stuff, though, at regionals, making it here and there. So that's kind of maybe why this is up towards the top, also people wanting 2 or 3 of those. When it comes to Eternity Code and the market not having organized play, this is one of the safest sets, because you know reprints aren't likely until next summer, and at soonest probably March. But my general advice for the market right now is either go ultra high or super low. A lot of the mid-range stuff is more apt to fall out until competitive play is announced once again, rather than really spike. So like the top of the set, Access Code Talker, I could still see this skyrocketing over time towards 90 or 100, but anything else mid-range, like people are so scared of Link Ross, and I know it's something I pushed heavily, but people are just like, yeah, we're gonna go through all these ban lists, man, and we're not gonna have time to actually play it at events. I get the sentiment. Konami really could drop a bomb of a huge ban list at some point, and it would just be crazy for the community as they ramp back up into playing, and we could really not see organized play with Link Cross. That's a realistic fear. We don't know what Konami intends with the ban list. Last time indicates they don't want to do much, but an entry back to Yu-Gi-Oh!, they're gonna fire a cannon that we all can hear, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to the rest of the set, though, there's so many good things, like Plunder Patrol Ship lists, you have Fusion Legion deployment, Arch Nemesis Ashatos, Crocodragon, so many gosh dang good low range cards. It's so hard to keep up, actually, that I would be stocking up in overtime, because I do think we'll probably be back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Around next March, but hey, I'm no scientist. I'm not somebody who can tell you when that's gonna be. When it comes to Legendary Duelist, like I said, it got its unlimited run at some point. You definitely see it affect the market a bit. There's so many penny stonk options. Satellite Warrior, Junk Converter, Satellite Synchron. You have actually Popper Up kind of chilling up in price as a rare compared to a lot of rares in these kinds of sets. And then the Magician's Combination. Sunrise for heroes. I could definitely see this being $10 one day. Hero players, you can never predict them, but this is a card a lot of them choose to run. And then Soul Servant's still chilling around 8. I could see this being 15 one day. Look at the Dark Magicians, it was shorter printed, around 30. Not a lot of people call that happening even with the shorter print, despite its collectability. Now, when it comes to Dual Overload, mid-range, this is one of the few cards I would buy. Verte Anaconda, even with no organized play, the Megatons are coming, people are going to want to summon Dragoon, he's the selling point of that set. I'm going to continue to say that it's a good buy, but Halifibrax is chilling at 30, despite Link Ross falling out. It doesn't make much sense to me. We've seen Halifibrax fall lower than this, and then just back up. It's so weird to watch that disposition versus Link Ross, but maybe that OCG ban list fear is really there. Levianeer's done nothing but be a stonk, and Union Carrier's just been chilling out. There's so many things to go for in Dual Overload, but the quantities are so high on initial release. I ask you to look back at Legendary Collection Kaiba, though. Things have really started to go up. Let's actually go take a look at that together real quick. Legendary Collection Kaiba is such an interesting one when it comes to its entire set and how it's aged over time. Like the Delinquent Duo used to be $2, now $10. Ash Blossom, of course, had its reprinting in other places, and I didn't know that it spiked up like this. Sage with Eyes of Blue has aged like a fine wine. Of course, Secret Rare Trade-In being one of the highest rarities, and actually seeing some play with dangers over time, and generic draw cards in general being a good buy. Like things end up going nicely over time. The set definitely has gotten some good estimated value. There's still nice things to get that were cheaper at one point. I think that you see these March reprint sets. I thought I still had a tab for it. I forgot I did the thing. When it comes to these March reprint sets, a lot of stuff will age well. A ton of it. So you've got to kind of pick and choose earlier on what to go for, but you have a lot of time because it's slowly going to go up versus that. And finally, when it comes to the Plunder Patrols overall, I like this deck a lot, and I just want to note, we probably at some point we'll get an update to this from the OCG. Very few TCG exclusive archetypes don't, and there are so many cheap things thanks to the ships being overprinted from iGas, and then in the Eternity Code list is actually just as cheap despite not being overprinted in any way, shape, or form. And then the Captain, ooh, so cheap. I really like this archetype for what it is, and I think a couple of cards could really break it in, and we could see that from the OCG, but that's what we say with every release of any TCG exclusive. Come on, give us that Beatrice, bring it to the next level. BA didn't need all that extra help, but Beatrice sure was nice. Spiral, Double Helix, etc. Poor Cosmos, where's their extras? They didn't need it either. They were meta in the OCG for a while, but I'm digressing. I think the Plunder Patrols are a pretty good grab for their pricing, but they are kind of mid-range for these, so it's weigh the risk versus the reward versus that reprint clock while we don't have organized play. That being said, thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Use that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying, whether they're as big as a Starlight or as low as a Penny Stonk. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel so much. And let me know what you think of kind of this stalemate of, we don't know when play will be back. We kind of assumed a lot of these events would be canceled, but what do you think it's going to do to the meta prices over time now that it's that long-term clock? We didn't see what would happen to the meta before, and it skyrocketed like crazy. We are during a recession, and Yu-Gi-Oh's had success during a recession, but it's that weird point where now it's a recession and we're not playing the game at shops or anything. So I feel like the collector's market and collectible cards are where you mostly want to go, but I think some meta cards are still good grabs over time.